In this episode, we're sharing 3 ways your words are destroying your marriage and how to transform them today. My name is Carolyn.
My name is Greg. Welcome back to another episode of Why Your Marriage Isn't Growing, the Christian Couple's Guide to Rekindling Love, Faith, and Connection. Words do have meaning. And in this episode, we want to share with you 3 benefits that we know will truly help you on this journey. The specific phrases may be damaging your marriage without you realizing it. How to replace criticism and connection building communication. And 3 simple step processes to transform heated moments into opportunities for deeper understanding. I know if you out there listening, you want to know what can you do to transform your words into life and not death. The Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you want to speak life. Isn't that amazing? Now, most of you don't know this, but we just want to share briefly with you that we've been married for nearly 40 years and we needed to get a platform. We kept looking and searching. So guess what we did? We created our own platform. And if you missed the last episode, you need to go back and listen to the previous episode. But I'm going to tell you, words have power. And if the words you're using daily are slowly eroding your marriage, we're going to help you replace harmful communication patterns with healing conversations that bring you together. So I want to let Carolyn share with you point number 1, why words are destroying your marriage.
So point number 1, discover the phrases that may be damaging your marriage without even realizing. Common phrases like you always, you never, and why can't you just, that create defensive reactions and shut down communication.
You never take the trash out. You never wash the dishes. You never put the stuff away. See, you always keep saying these you never instead of saying what you do. You always speak in negative. Why can't you? Why can't you do that? Why can't you do this? Why is it that you're not doing this?
We're better than that. How about, honey, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it.
But see, that's the remedy. We're talking about, I'm a product of this. You always find fault in what I'm saying. I used to say that a lot. Carolyn, why do you always looking for something to say? Why don't you ever put the dishes away? These seemingly small phrases activate your spouse's fight or flight. And as Christians seeking God-centered marriages, our words should reflect grace rather than worldly patterns of criticism. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And I can remember when we used to do that.
Oh my goodness.
It was like, I didn't want to talk to you. I would go to the bedroom, shut the door, go get in the car and leave. I would just do anything.
And I know that some of you who are listening to us have either felt this way, you're feeling that way right now. Share with us in the comments because we definitely want to get your feedback, because here's a saying that we always say, first form of healing is to be true to yourself. You got to self-evaluate and look at this and say, hey, I do say that. I do need to watch my mouth. What do you do next?
You start noticing your go-to phrase during disagreement.
But we're going to start doing this, keeping a private journal for 1 week, writing down trigger phrases to use. Probably have a devotion that you do every morning. You get up and you spend some time with the Lord. And if you don't do that, you might want to start that today. Implement that into your process. And that's the first form of the transformation, because the first form of healing is to be true to yourself. Do you want to be renewed and transformed by the renewing of your mind? Everything starts in your mind. Whatever you think about, that's what you become about. These words that you're about to say to your spouse, if Jesus was sitting right in front of you, would you say, you never answer my prayer? Why don't you answer my prayer? You're having all these negative things you're saying to Christ, and Christ says, I died for you. I shed my blood on Calvary for you. See, these are some things that you need to be running that tape. Well, what you think about that, Christ? If Christ was sitting in front of you right now, you would watch your tone, because you always tell me, watch your tone.
Right. Did I not tell you? You can tell me anything. It's the tone that I'm having a problem dealing with.
I hope y'all heard that, ladies and gentlemen. Leave us a comment down below so we can know that you're getting what we're putting down, which leads us to
point number 2. Learn how to replace criticism with connection-building communication. So what is it?
The difference between criticism, attacking character, and complaints addressing specific behavior in marriage communication. The Bible says in Ephesians, it causes us to speak the truth love. And if you notice, Paul wrote the book, that's like a love connection. It says connection, building, communication honors both truth and love. So that's basically saying that you need to breathe. You need to take 10 seconds and breathe a little before you respond. Now, I know that's easier said than done because you're in the heated, you're on a 10, but once you get to a 10, your spouse going to get to a 10. Now, both of y'all are at 10.
And nobody's listening.
And nobody's listening. Nobody's home. Both parties have shut each other off. There's a fight or flight has taken place. We saw the statistics on how many marriages were ending up in divorce.
Christian
marriages. Carolyn and I said, we have to do something. We know what the problem is. Let's speak the solution because the Bible says, speak those things as though they are. And we wanted to speak life into marriages. We want to speak life into your marriage. Go over and read the book of Ephesians. Paul is clear when he says connecting, building, communication honors both truth and love, allowing couples to address issues without damaging the relationship. You don't want to destroy and damage your relationship.
So what to do? Want to start speaking in love. Always forget important dates. I felt disappointed when our anniversary wasn't acknowledged. And I know none of you have missed your anniversary.
Several times when I asked a couple how long they've been married and when's the anniversary, I always ask the man because most men forget their anniversary date is, but that's a real big thing. See, what happens is when you forget that date, the woman is thinking in her mind, you don't really care about me. And if you don't remember the anniversary and the birthday, especially of your spouse, and you might forget a lot of other days, you might even forget what her favorite ice cream is, or you might forget what her favorite color is. You may forget a lot of things, but please do not ever forget the anniversary nor the birthday if that person means something to you. And Einstein equates that to insanity. Keep doing the same old dumb stuff over and over and over, expecting a different. And this is a good takeaway for people. We equate our lives to a bank account, making deposits. Explain to them what we mean by deposits and withdrawals.
Well, if you go to the bank to do a withdrawal and you haven't made a deposit,
don't treat it like it's a competition.
Say that we do try to outgive the other.
In the beginning, I did. But then as time went on, I started thinking about it and said, you know what? I'll just make it a natural order of things, and I'll just make deposit, not expecting a withdrawal.
But knowing
that if I come to get a withdrawal, I will get it because I made a sufficient amount of deposits. And deposits could be as simple as good morning, honey. You're upstairs and she says, could you go get me a glass of water? And you be over there watching and she knows that could be a trigger. You don't even think twice about it. You just get up, you go get the water. You may miss a play, but that should be insignificant because that goes a long way inside of her thought process. And what does that have to do with words? It has everything to do with words because your attitude is going to speak. And you may say something stupid like this. Can't you see one number when watching the game? Why couldn't you wait until at least got halftime or something or the next play? Your whole operation in your life should be to instill positive communication, uplifting and inspiring, encouraging words in your spouse. In some cases, that may be easier said than done. I know that you may be in a challenging situation right now, but you know what? Every time I try to say something, my spouse is always kicking back, giving me pushback. So what would you say to the man doing his best to uplift and encourage and inspire, but the woman is constantly not being receptive?
My thought is, what has he done that's hurt her to the point that she's put away?
That's good, girl. Something took place somewhere in that relationship that he let it go. She didn't. And it could work on both ways, but we're talking about from the male to the female.
Right.
When you're trying to be lovable and uplifting and the wife is not being receptive, something has been hidden somewhere. You haven't addressed it. Instead, you just keep sweeping it up under the rug. Eventually, you're going to trip over that rug, meaning you got to address that problem.
You just have to say, babe, what have I done? Or what can I do for us to get beyond?
Things have changed from the time we started dating. We got married in 1988. Now, look at all of the stuff that's took place to 2025. There's been a transformation. And I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, there's been words that have been said that were hurtful. I know I said a lot of words were hurtful, but you said something that was encouraging. You said, what can I do to change this? If I said anything to you or I did anything to you, what can I do?
Asking you to forgive me.
Right. So that would give the woman or the man the opportunity to say what's on their mind. Words hurt, but words can help and heal too.
So let's talk about
Point number 3.
master a simple 3-step process to transform heated moments into opportunities for deeper understanding.
Pause. Reflect. It's easier said than done because there have been many of times Carolyn will say something that will just cause me to sit back and say, think about that for a minute. Reflect on what she's saying. And you can do all this in 10 to 30 seconds. This is the person I chose. Why don't we pause, reflect, and connect? If you didn't get nothing out of this, understand this is how you handle difficult conversations. James in chapter 1, verse 19 reminds us to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. It's a simple process. Pause, reflect, and connect. It's also simple to listen. Sit down, listen to what the person says. And I'm telling you this with all sincerity in my heart because I was that person. And if you're being true to yourself, you will listen to what we're saying and say, you know what? That was me too. Or I'm that person right now.
You know what just came into my mind? People don't want to be the one that's wrong.
Wow.
So in order to not be the one that's wrong, I'm going to try to make you be the one.
They want you to be wrong. I say, I love you, Carolyn. Carolyn says she loves me. Well, why is it that I don't want to take ownership for what I did?
Some people don't want to let go. You have got to be vulnerable.
So here's 3 things we're going to share with you. Understand this. Pause, reflect, and connect. Take 30 seconds, breathe, reflect, ask clarifying questions to understand your spouse's perspective. Connect, acknowledge their feelings before expressing your own needs. Remember, it ain't about you. You got to figure out what you just did.
As we leave you, I want to give you a message that you can keep. Your words have the power to either build a fortress of protection around your marriage or slowly chip away its foundation. Choose to speak life, even when it's difficult, and watch how God transforms your relationship.
One conversation at a time. Don't let that rug get to the point where
That
you
you
trip.
trip.
Don't let them conversations get so deep and profound that it destroys your marriage and has you going to the divorce court because you didn't want to do this one conversation at a time. But as we close up, hopefully you can get an understanding of what it means to destroy your Christian marriage and also to transform your life. We explored how to replace criticism with specific loving requests. We learned pause, reflect, and connect method for transforming heated moments of communication. Isn't about avoiding harm. It's about actively building connection, one conversation at a time. Words are seeds that grow into the garden of your marriage. Plant them wisely. When you plant onions, you want onions. When you plant apples, you want apples. When you plant uplifting and encouraging words, you want to get that back. You want to be reciprocal. Arguments and discord, you will get arguments and discord back. You plant happiness and you will get that back. We want to thank you for joining us today and don't miss next week's episode. To God be the glory.